everyone, welcome to Kids Can Code. My name's Jessie, and in this workshop we'll talk about all things code. What is it, why learn it, where to start, what it even looks like, and most importantly we'll also have some fun with it. Okay, so some of you may have seen workshops like this before, and that's okay, because all of these workshops, they just build up our skills and they reinforce what we already know. And even if you've never touched code before and haven't heard any of this before, that'll be okay too. This workshop's also for you. Okay, so what is code? We've all used computers and we use phones. They have apps and they have games, and all of that is written in code. So you don't have apps without code, and you don't have games, and you don't have the phones without code either, or the computers. So code is just this basis of all of our technology that we use. And it's a wonderful skill that you can have for life, and it can lead to many great opportunities, and it can make challenges at school and at work, it can just make them easier. So code's this great tool that we have as well. What do I like about code? Well, coding, it's for everyone. Everyone can do it and everyone can benefit from it. When you have a chance to get to know code more, you'll know what you like about it as well. I really like that I can be creative with code. I can make something with it. I like that it's a whole lot of different languages, and they are just like other languages. Like I really like learning like Italian and Japanese, and coding is just more languages. And I also like that it's a bit like maths, and it can help us solve problems as well. So what has code done for me personally? Well, aside from giving us all of this technology that we use in our daily lives for entertainment and for learning and for connecting with others, code has given me a great job that I really enjoy. And it's important to love your job and enjoy what you do. And thanks to my coding skills, I'm also really useful at work. So people might have problems that they need to solve, or they might have data that they need to look through, and depending how much there is, that could take a really long time. But if we just write some code to look through the data for us, or to have a look at our problems for us, then we can get the computer to help us, and that can make things go a lot faster. And that's really useful to be able to do that. So where do I start with coding projects? Well, first, you need to have something that you want to do with code. So like some problem that you want to solve, or something that you want to create. And then for me, when I start on a project, I always draw a picture. It doesn't need to be a fancy picture at all. I just start with something so that I have a clear goal in mind of what I'm working towards. And it just lets me like refer back to see whether I've achieved that goal or if there's still more to do. And sometimes the goal can change, but just by drawing a picture, if I'm thinking about code when I draw the picture, I can really picture how I'll get started with it. Okay, so this is one drawing that I've done. And yeah, they definitely don't need to be good drawings. It's just about setting yourself the goal of what you want to create. And what is important for coding? So these are just a few tips that I have. They've been really important for me, and they're also really important if you want to get serious about coding. So like the first one there, be neat and tidy. That ties in a little bit with the think about others, the next point, but it's also about thinking about yourself. So you might work really hard on a coding project and make something really nice. And then a few months later, you might think, oh, that thing that I created a few months ago, that'd be really handy to use in this other coding project. But if it wasn't neat and tidy when you wrote it, when you created it, then it can be really hard to look back and understand what was happening and what you wanted to do with that code and what things meant. So if we keep it neat and tidy, we can look back at our code and know what things did, and then we can reuse it or we can edit it. And that's just a really good thing to do. And then thinking about others, you might work in group assignments and have to work on projects together with other people. And so by being neat and tidy and by thinking about others, you'll write code that then makes it easy for other people to work with you. So that's really important as well. And then we're always trying to make code better. So things can change over time, or you can just learn more that you didn't realize existed before. So sometimes you might write like 100 words to make something happen, or you might use lots of different blocks to build up your code. And then you find out that there was a much easier way to do it if you just knew this other way. So yeah, we're always revisiting our code and always refining it and making it better, especially as we learn new things. And then further than that, it's also important to get to know the language that you're coding with. So, and there's a lot of different languages, and they can all do a lot. And just like with English, and we know lots of different words when we speak English, it's important that our coding, you learn the language, you learn the words that exist in that, and you learn what it can do. So that goes into the second point as well, that you might, and like I was saying on the last slide, you might do something that's a lot of effort that could be done much easier if you just knew this other word that you could use instead, or if you knew this other block of code existed. Okay, and so then we're also just always learning more, and yeah, but I promise it is fun. Like, you're solving problems and you're learning things that will help you solve problems, so stick with it. And now let's look at some code. Okay, so here is this a recipe for a cake that I see? Well, I don't know, is that really code? Well, coding is just like writing a recipe for your computer to make it do something. And I'll prove that to you. So this recipe may not be code exactly as it's written, but this is that recipe written in code. And this, it looks a bit scary like this, so we'll break it down so we can see it a bit easier. Okay, so we're going to import the oven from the kitchen. Great. We need an oven to be able to do some cooking. And we've got here, looks like we've got a choc cake, and that is going to use bake cake, and we're telling it chocolate. So that looks like we're baking a cake, and that looks like code as well. But what is bake cake? Okay, so in this next part of the code, we need to tell the computer what we want bake cake to do. And I'll mention that the gray text, that's a comment. So that is to help people to read the code, but the computer will ignore that text. So here we've got bake cake equals function, and it takes on a flavor. Okay, so function is just, it's going to do something, and we're saying that bake cake is going to do that thing, and it's going to ask for what flavor of cake you want. That's okay so far. And like always with baking a cake, the first thing that we'll do, we'll preheat the oven. So here we've got the oven, and we're going to set the temperature to 190 Celsius. Okay, so that's something that we're telling the computer to do. And then next we're going to start with some wet ingredients, and we're going to add them to the bowl. So add to bowl butter, sugar, eggs. And then we want to mix that together. So mix bowl, fast, 3 cycles. So that's all simple so far. Well, It may not be simple yet, but hopefully you're following along. And this now is where we're going to look at what flavor is needed. So we're getting the computer to make a choice. If the flavor is vanilla, we'll add to bowl vanilla essence. Else, or otherwise, if the flavor is chocolate, then we're going to add cocoa powder to the bowl. So does anyone remember what flavor the cake is? You might remember that it was a chocolate cake, because we said that we wanted to bake cake chocolate, and chocolate was the flavor. So we're going to add to bowl some cocoa powder. And then we'll add the rest of the dry ingredients, and we'll mix that at a medium speed for 5 cycles. Cool. Okay, so we want to bake this cake for 40 minutes. Oh, we actually want to bake it for 25 minutes. So we've got variable baked cake, and we're saying that we want to use in the oven, bake the cake for 25 minutes. It used to be 40 minutes, and I actually had a closer look at the recipe. So then we're also, after we've baked the cake and we've assigned it to the baked cake variable, we're then going to return that baked cake from the original function where we ask the computer to do something for us. Okay, so in this grey text, it's some notes to ourselves as well. We also need to define the other functions that we've just looked at, where we had set temperature. But what does set temperature mean? We need to tell the computer that we're going to ask it to set a temperature and what that temperature will be and in what unit that temperature will be. Then we're also going to add ingredients to the bowl. So we need to tell the computer how to do that as well. And even when we mix the bowl, we have to tell the computer how to do that. And when we bake. So we bake in the oven and we give it a time and the unit of measurement, because maybe we're baking something that needs to be 1 hour instead. And so all of these things were used above, and they all need to be defined. But then another note, maybe there's already a library we can import these from. So in coding, you don't have to write everything from scratch. So we can borrow code that other people have already written. And then that makes things a little bit easier. You could say it's a piece of cake. Okay, so now we'll try some code ourselves. I've written up some ideas that you might like to try while we're on this food themed of what we can do. So those ideas, you could ask for a flavor of cake and then provide that cake in response. So you might ask someone, do you want a chocolate cake or a vanilla cake? And if you're familiar with the coding platform Scratch, we'll be putting things together in that. So you could create something that asks for that, and then the people will get that cake back. You could also just create some animations. So you might just animate the cooking process where you maybe move some eggs around and add them to a bowl and mix them around in the bowl and put them in the oven. I'm sure that you could do that. And you could also create a calculator for cooking, which that would be super useful, because when we think about measurements and quantities, there's a lot of things that we can convert or change. So you might have a recipe that feeds 4, but maybe you only need to feed 2, or maybe you need to feed 8. So you could have a calculator that does that conversion for you. So it tells you how to adjust the ingredients and the cooking time and the temperature. Or you could have something that converts measurements. So you might need to change from Celsius to Fahrenheit, or the other way around, depending what your oven is set up for and where you got your recipe from. And then you could also change measurements. So if you did get your recipe, maybe it's one from your great-great-grandmother and it was written in other measurements, you could change like ounces to grams and things like that. Okay. So if you head to securiday.com and click on the Canberra event, you'll find a link through to Scratch and some examples of these ideas. And then we'll be available in the event chat, so you can ask any questions you have. And I really hope you just have some fun with this and that you've learnt something more about code today. Thanks. Have a great day.